Hey everyone, Sean here, and today, yes, we have another driving vlog sort of video of sorts. Basically, I wanted to do sort of a shortcut for those who wanted to hear about my thoughts about the Corolla, for those car people out there. So I try to be short as possible, right? But basically, it's been a month, more or less, with the car, and I really feel, it's been pretty good. It's been treating me pretty good. Oh, okay, this guy wants to make a turn. Anyway, so it's been quite the experience. Like I said, trying to get used to everything. Sorry if it's like rumbly or whatever, but shaky. But anyway. Well, maybe that tells you about the suspension. No, it's been pretty good. The ride has been, I would say, at least decent. It takes bumps pretty well for a non-luxury car, and going from that to a luxury car, or going from that to a compact car like this has been also something to get used to. But it's been quite the experience of that itself. But otherwise, it's a Corolla. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that reliable sort of tank kind of car. Like, it's gonna last you for a very long time, at least like 200,000 miles or whatever, if you treat it well. The oil thing, I haven't really touched anything because it's been a month only. So, I'll try to, of course, be on top of that with the oil and everything. Of course, with the CVT fluid and stuff like that, which is basically transmission fluid. Just watch your fluids, man. That's all you really need to do for the most part. And of course, your battery. Gotta watch your battery, because if you leave that alone, it's going to force the alternator to work harder, and it'll start to wear out more weight, more things than you would want to attend to. So that's why you definitely want to take care of the battery, as well as your essential fluids like oil and transmission fluid, your coolant, of course. So, but basically, watch your fluids, and then you'll know when the battery's dying. And then, of course, your tire pressure and everything. Your tires, you gotta rotate your tires, right? That's another thing to keep an eye out for. But other than that, that's pretty much all you need to do for a basic car like this, right? So, but when it comes to something like a Lexus IS250, there are more sort of delicate nuances that you have to look out for, your tires. Like, you can't rotate your tires because it used two different sizes, especially from the 06 ones, and that always irritated me. But that's something I had to stick with or get used to at that time. But other than that, yeah, don't have to worry about that with the Corolla anymore. I also, of course, love the style of it. I love the look on this car. It's still it's still looking great. Nothing really has changed from there of my impressions or anything like that. I really like the front side of the car and all. So in that department, definitely no change there. Well, it looks like there's a signal there on the freeway, but anyway. The steering and everything, that's where I was also trying to get used to, because everything is so electronic. Like, you have electronic steering, electronic braking, a lot of electronic things. So there is a lot to get used to in that regard as well, because I've been driving a old ass car for a long ass time. That's kind of crazy to think about. I've always stuck with the Silica, and then from 01, and then I went into a 06 IS250. So that's where I was getting into this car and all that stuff. So yeah, again, getting used to it was quite the experience in that of itself. While I do feel, yes, that there is a lot of hand-holding, right? It does feel like at times where you're not driving the car, it's the car driving you, essentially, in a way. And I do definitely feel that at times. But you know what? It is what it is at this point. The times are changing. A lot of things are electronic. It is what it is, I guess. That's the kind of age we're sort of transitioning into, right? From gasoline to electric at some point, especially with California trying to push the electric thing a little too fast, in my opinion. In fact, it may do more harm than good right now, that is, because, we don't have the proper infrastructure and everything for it. And, the proper sort of, rhythm and all that stuff to sort of have electric cars in our repertoire, so to say, if that makes sense. Because, we got it down, right, when it comes to gasoline cars. When you need fuel, you just go to the gas station and fill it up, right? But when it comes to electric vehicles, you really don't have the luxury of just let me just charge it up for an hour or whatever, or even swap out the battery and then charge that battery and then you're good to go after the swap. But it's just it's very delicate, and also the charging thing, and the fact that the more people who drive the electric vehicles, right, where does electricity come from, right? That's a whole nother issue. I don't want to get into that too much, but point being, a lot of things are electronic right now, including this car, right? But the essentials are still there. The handling is still good for the most part, but there is, again, a lot of moments of hand holding. Steering does feel really light a lot of times. I don't feel like I'm doing the work, so to say, which I admittedly I do feel like I am into that better than with electronic steering and stuff like that. Hydraulic, because when stuff was hydraulic, it was you that was driving the car. Braking, it was you that was hitting the brake, so to say. You're in control of the car. But with all this stuff, again, it just feels like the computer / car is driving you in more ways than one. Now, the cruise control can be nice. I haven't used it yet, but it can be nice because it adjusts according to the distance between the car in front of you and yourself, of course, and while maintaining the speed that you want. So you'll always drive at 60 miles per hour with that distance and stuff like that. There's sensors and all this stuff around the car and everything. So you got, like I said, there's just so many electronic things in this car. It's more and more like a smart device than anything. Of course, it's got the touch screen. I mean, at least it works well with the Apple, with the CarPlay and stuff like that. So that's nice. I do have a backup camera that's been treating me pretty nicely. I kind of like it because it does help. But once that goes out, it's how much is that gonna set me back for? So, you still got the rear mirror. It's fine, but those little extras are pretty cool. I mean, while it lasts, and I'll try to enjoy it. But anyway, so yeah, the interior is really nice, though. Speaking of which, I do like the readability and everything of the screen and the dashboard. The indicators and all that stuff. My speedometer, my tachometer, and the mileage and stuff like that. The average gas mileage. Right now, I'm averaging at 27.2. That's my total average. And to be fair, right now I do more city driving than I am with freeway. The only time I go on the freeway is to go to work, and that hasn't even been that much of a drive because it's just close to where I live, so not much of an issue there, thankfully. But the gas mileage will, show more of the city side of things than anything. I'm sure I can be able to hit 38 miles per gallon in the city. It's just when it comes to total average, yeah, I have not been able to easily hit 30, so to say. But other than that, I have not filled the tank up yet, like ever since I got the car. It's been a month too, so it definitely does not suck up gas, let's say that much, which is nice. And then, not to mention, it's going to be regular gas, regular grade gas, 87 octane, which is really nice, to get away from all the premium gas cars that I have been driving for a good number of years now, including the Celica GTS and the IS250 from Lexus. So, yeah, they've been sucking up all that 97 octane, or 91, excuse me, 91. But yeah, it's otherwise, I mean, with all that said about the electronic stuff, it does still feel decent to drive, at least, so to say, and it's pretty fun. There are plenty of moments where you are in control, of course. You're still doing the steering yourself, of course, especially when you're doing the tight turns and stuff like that. It does feel nice. It does feel more like a go-kart in comparison to something like a IS250. That's more of a luxurious ride than anything. When it was able to take bumps, by the time I was done with the car, it started to sort of get a little shaky. My one of my struts was starting to wear out or whatever, or one of my shocks or something like that was starting to wear a little thin, somewhere on one side. But yeah, basically, the ride and everything has been pretty good. The seats are comfortable. There's just a lot of things that are nice, right? That now I don't have to really worry about as much as I did with the IS250. No leather, the paint and everything. The fact that, the IS250 had one owner before makes me question of how much that person took care of the car exterior-wise. Because the clear coat was starting to go out by the time I was done with it. It was like starting to peel and everything. So now, to be fair, I didn't cover the car as much. It is an outdoor car, so that part of it is on me, definitely. And it is a dark colored car and everything. So, and yes, I had the car longer and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously I had a part of the paint job, so to say, but I did my best to protect it, but it's still started to peel out with the clear coat. But with this one, I'm covering it all the time, and I do have pretty much like the essentials of like keeping the car, pristine and clean with all the new waxes too, man. That's another story with the flex wax. Like, there's like crazy stuff out there, like the ceramic wax, spray wax at that, graphene wax. So I'm starting to look into that type of products as of late. I'll definitely consider that later on, but for right now, I think I'm pretty good. I do have the ceramic spray wax from Turtle Wax, so that's what I'm gonna stick with for right now. Maybe I'll have the graphene as a base and then use the ceramic one as just like a maintenance thing, like to keep coating it and stuff like that. I don't know, we'll see. Or I just probably stick with the ceramic one the entire time until it runs out, and then I go with the graphene one later on. But yeah, for Turtle Wax has been really been on top of the game over the years. Like, I remember back when I had the silica, like, they were kind of treated as like a joke, but then Turtle Wax started to really, really up the car care products. So that's actually nice to see. So anyway, back on the car. Anything else I want to mention? I mean, the CVT thing has been pretty nice. It's been pretty smooth. The power is there when you launch or when you take off from residential to the busy street. It's really nice. It has enough power to, get you up to that certain speed or whatever, right? Like 40 or 60 or whatever. It has enough get up, and I'm pretty happy with that. I did felt that by the time the Lexus was done, it started to like, started to sort of show its age, so to say. Unless I swap out the transmission, but that would have been more worth than the car itself. So it's like, yeah, it was that time. I did my best, but the transmission essentially started to die out, which I can definitely believe. But there were problems with it, with the pressure and everything, and all that stuff, blah blah blah. But yeah, this one has enough get up to be a good all-around car, I think. The trunk space is pretty nice, although most of the space is vertical. So the horizontal and whatever, the actual floor space, let's say, the cabin space, is a little more on the short side. I would say definitely the Lexus IS250 had a bigger trunk than that. I don't know what the cubic feet or whatever the hell was, but I think it was something about 17 inches, something like that. I don't know. I don't know if my units are right, but whatever. All I can say is that the trunk space is kind of decent, I would say. But the height, you have the height for sure. But you definitely don't want to block the rear window, so there's that. But yes, you can easily store stuff in the hatchback, of course. Especially once you fold down the seats. That thing is very convenient. I can definitely see that in the future. But other than that, I like all the little gadgets, right? Music, sound, everything. Been pretty good. So, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. It's still like a 9 out of 10. I think it's a great car. Of course, it's a Corolla. You can't go wrong with it, and that's pretty much. Essentially, I wanted to get out of the way. If there was like small little details that I'm missing, well, that's that. But that is the basic detail on things. So I'm about to go to run some errands, but it's pretty much it on me for the Corolla. If anyone wanted to just hear my opinion on it instead of like hear me do my car talk, like I kind of did here anyway. But anyway. That's that. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you have any questions about the Corolla. I'll try to do my best to answer. And if you want to ask questions about my older cars, then you can go ahead and do that as well in the comment section below. But yeah, that's it for this video. The Corolla hatchback sort of talk and my 1 month review, I guess. So it's been pretty good. And I'm pretty damn happy with the car. So. Thank you very much. I'll see you all in the next one. Sean out.